Great American Road Trip. Like everybody.
Oh, us, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. I was driving my minivan and I'm driving back once I have to.
Okay, everyone?
Yeah. The open road is just bolting right now.
Hello, everyone?
Like historical marker.
I know.
Hello? Hello? Hello, everyone. We're going to get started. Thank you for coming out to the Monteville Neighborhood Association annual meeting and elections. My name is David Lynn. I'm the chair of the Neighborhood Association. I will be doing an annual report here with our vice chair, Amanda Rhodes. And thank you all again for coming out tonight. One last thing. If anyone's hearing impaired, we do have a live captioning up here. Please go ahead and feel free to sit up close.
Turn the mic up. I don't know.
I think that's a yes. Josh is asking that you guys move, so he doesn't have to.
Move what?
You move the mic over so you can see the screen.
Yes. I need to be able to see the computer. Is that where together? Is that? There are seats up here, and I can try to turn this. Would you like me on the other side?
He doesn't want to move. He just wants to see that.
I hear you. Does that mess you up, Andrew?
Nope, we're cool. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Good? All right.
About ready for me? Thank you.
What's that?
You're good.
Is that better for volume? Yeah. All right. So I was tasked with putting together an annual report for MNA, and having not seen one before, I figured I would just do a nice PowerPoint with an overview of what we've been up to this year. And David and I are going to take turns talking about some of those things. So jumping right in, we had a value of improving our communications with the community, and we've done that in a number of venues. We got a new MailChimp account, and we've been sending out email blasts of our own events and other events in the community. We're back in the Southeast Examiner almost every month. We've got a little blurb about what's up. We have a brand new website as of the last month or two, where we're still populating. It's updating frequently, so feel free to jump on there and see what we're up to. Our Facebook page has been growing. We've grown by 33% since last year. And David has worked really hard to reinstitute a newsletter, and we've been sending that out quarterly as well, the most recent one through the mail.
Yeah, our outreach committee tried to get, we got 3 newsletters done. We've had various articles about volunteer opportunities, ways to get connected in the community, and we've also had some wonderful articles about Monteville history in there as well. We've been to several events. We had a great time at the Monteville Street Fair, thousands of people, a bunch of people to meet. It was really fun. We also went to the Montevillage Festival at Creative Science School. Had a bunch of fun there. The 82nd Avenue Roses Parade, which was back again this year, was a really fun event. We went down, marched down 82nd. This was my first time in a dunk tank. We had a bunch of fun. My son and niece had fun dunking me multiple times. And then in election season, we had 2 candidate forums for both city council races. You'll see we also invited our county commissioner, Jessica Vega Pedersen, to attend one of our meetings, and she came and spoke about how the neighborhood and county services connect. We had our National Night Out Barbecue over in Monteville Park. It was a great success. We fed several of the staff at Monteville Community Center. I think we did over 150 hot dogs that day. And
Yeah, most recently, some of you might have come out to our neighborhood cleanup that Brad Donahue and David Only organized, and this was a really fun event. We filled full 4 dumpsters that were, let's see, totaled, what did he tell me? Well, so we did a whole metals one that was 0.89 tons, and then I think it was 4 something tons for the other 4. Actually, I probably have it in my notes somewhere here. We don't know yet what the cost will be. We grossed over 2,000. We'll probably end up having to pay about 500 of that back. But we had a great partner in ECR, the recycling company, and Brendan was at our event and was able to tell people what was okay to bring and what was not. And he had been to 8 this year alone with different neighborhood associations, and was really impressed with how many volunteers came out, how long the event was. We were longer, but we still didn't overflow everything. We didn't turn anyone away. And there are a lot of people to thank for this. David only really stepped up to organize it and work with Southeast Uplift. Southeast Uplift has been a great support. We're really grateful to Montevilla Baptist Church for hosting us and all the volunteers that they turned out for us. And we're just really excited to get this going. We did it in the fall this year, and we had a reuse area that was really nice. People could kind of shop there, and then we donated everything that was worth donating at the end. And then you can also see we were drowning in styrofoam, and David only has been responsible for taking that down to Tigard, bag by bag, I guess. But you know, people were really grateful for that. It's not something that we normally offer. And people were, saving up their styrofoam for years and not knowing what to do with it, and so they were like really excited to bring it. I'm hearing my children; they're quite loud. And we have talked a lot about homelessness. We wanted to kind of go through some of the things we've been working on this year. Former board members have been really passionate about the Montevilla Emergency Warming Shelter and have stepped up to donate their time and donate materials. The board did put out a statement of support for that last winter. We also passed a letter of support for the Village of Hope, which was a self-governed tent village in Northeast Portland that subsequently was removed. And David's going to talk about the forum we held in June.
Yeah, of course, homelessness has been a big issue here in the community, and we heard that last year, of course, and all throughout the year. We tried to do a lot of listening to the community and getting people involved. We held, in June, a 4-hour homeless forum up at the ERCO Resource Center. This was really a brainchild of one of our former board members, Olivia Alceptis. I'm sorry. And it was a really great event. We had a lot of community members come out. Again, it was 4 hours long. We had 3 panels, which involved not only homeless individuals themselves, experts in the field, but then people to explain how we got to the place where we're at and give people context of what's going on. And so that was really successful. We were happy to do that. And then from that, after that, we drafted a homeless resolution, which is available on our website. And again, we hope that this is the fruition of a year of listening to neighbors, analyzing what they're saying, listening to a lot of the people who deliver services here in the neighborhood, and then trying to take a really balanced approach to demanding some action on homelessness because it's still affecting our community. And we also did have some active public safety chair. I'd like to thank John Rotter. He did a great job meeting with people, being available, and connecting people with resources whenever they asked for it. And then we had another board member worked very hard on the Montevilla History Project, and this is hopefully an ongoing project, so if people are interested in getting involved, please connect with Pat Sanders. And this you'll also find there was an article in our most recent newsletter.
Yeah, one cool thing coming up with that is that we've been talking with the city Bureau of Planning and Sustainability, and they they're looking at Montevilla as one of the first communities to roll out a new historic resources inventory. We had written a letter of support for a budget request, which was ultimately denied by City Council, but we were one of the only communities to do that, and so they've been, we're kind of at the front along with St. John's for looking at least our commercial corridors for learning more information about the buildings that are there and their history. So I've been the chair of the Land Use and Transportation Committee, and we have some fun pictures of some things we've been doing. We have invited developers who've been working on projects or asking for adjustments in the community to come talk with us. We've been, we sent a long letter about a couple of adjustments for a new expansion of the Jackson's gas station at 82nd and Gleason, and subsequently we've been working with the applicant to try to, in as much as they, you know, if the city allows them to do what they're trying to do, then they're working with us to bring some community amenities at the corner there, and they've expanded a pedestrian plaza that they want to do on the corner there, and they've also talked with us about potentially doing a mural wall along the back of that, which could be cool if it pans out. This is a photo of an event we did in April. We made a little parklet on Stark Street, and as part of the Design Week Parking Day. This is something that is in September as well. We've been doing an extra one in Portland in April. And so we set up some fun things around the 20 is Plenty campaign, and also working with Kate Walker, who I'll show you a picture of in a minute, to talk about moving to 20 miles per hour on Stark Street for her project. Here are some more photos. We also were celebrating National Poetry Month and encouraging people to write haikus about Montevilla, and then we had some fun kids activities and place to read poetry. Metville liked this installation, and so they actually borrowed a bunch of our stuff the next month for their block party. So we had a little presence there as well, with a little seesaw and some cornhole. And I mentioned Kate Walker, she's here tonight. She took a class. The Bureau of Transportation offers a traffic and transportation class and encourages people to get involved, seeing what they could do around these issues to make their community a better place. And Kate came to us and went to METPA and went to 82nd Avenue Business Coalition and got letters of support and got a bunch of people to sign a petition, and got the speed limit change from 30 to 20. So that's super exciting. So Kate's here tonight. Where is she? Thank you, Kate. And we were lucky that she subsequently joined our committee and was helping us with things this spring and summer. And you know, like I said, we invite developers. We just had last week some folks come from Guerrilla Development to talk about a new micro restaurant thing they're doing at 70th and Gleason, which was really cool. And the new cash and carry development was also on that agenda. The other thing is that we've been working towards public art murals and talking a lot about them. Robin Head, who's doing check-in right now, was volunteered to set up our June MNA talk with the Portland Street Art Alliance and with one of the muralists, Alex Chu, who's done a lot of work in our community. He's the muralist for the 82nd Avenue Max Station painting. And so he came and talked about his work and kind of got us excited, and we've been looking at potential partnerships and working with property owners, and a lot of connections happened just in the last few weeks, and we were able to get a mural up at the farmers market site, which was super exciting. On the side of the veterinarian's building, it really, like, it happened within a week. It was nuts. There was a local artist and partnering with two Oakland artists who were here. It was an all-woman crew, and they just took over this big wall and did this So Radical Seeds mural, and it just looks really stunning. We're actually fundraising for it. I've got a GoFundMe here on the bottom of the slides, and we've also got a little jar over there with some more information about the process. And this is something that we want to see more of in our community, and we know there are a lot of sites that are getting tagged, sites that a lot of people are going by that could be a thing of beauty. And we've been talking to Pat Sanders about partnering on bringing some of Montevilla's history into the art. They've done that in Sunnyside recently and really successfully, so that's fun. The other thing is we are having a public meeting about the mural at Bipartisan Cafe on October 22nd at 6:30. We'll be sending more information out about that. So something cool that just bloomed this past month. In terms of financials, Brad Donahue stepped up to be our treasurer these last 6 months or so, and he put together a report for the fiscal year, which is July 2017 to June 2018, and we've got some numbers there. And it doesn't, really kind of elucidate what the revenue is, what the expenses are. A lot of the revenue is reimbursements from legal fees. It was reimbursements from other communications funds that we get from Southeast Uplift. The expenses were a lot of legal fees. There's a lot of things in and out, but you can kind of see the breakdown of expenses down here. So, and some things were, a chunk of this, 3 months, is before anyone on the current board was there. But that's kind of our fiscal report for last year, and then a little bit of an update. The balance as of today, I looked, and it's almost 6,300. And we just got checks from Molly Mayo, the last of our output from the legal fees and our communications reimbursement. For this year, we just had a fundraiser at East Gleason Pete, so we don't know what that's going to bring in. And we still have some more expenses for the hauling fees for the cleanup last week, and then a reimbursement from the city for some of that. So this will continue to move around a little, but it looks a little up over what was there when we came in. So we're kind of wrapping up. We've been through a lot of challenges this year, and it's good to kind of recognize that and figure out where we're coming from and where we're moving to. I think I certainly came in with a lack of institutional knowledge about the board, and there wasn't a lot of information transmitted to us. There was a lot of things going on last year, and there weren't a lot of board members who were continuing on. We almost right off the bat were addressing 6 grievances that were filed with concerns about last year's election, which we did address through our grievance process. We had to have a lot of extra meetings for that, but it was important that we look at those, and we did. Our findings were appealed to Southeast Uplift, and Southeast Uplift's board also reviewed it and agreed with us on all but the one point of the election notice not going out to the full board. So we've done a lot of work this year around improving our membership list and making sure that all of our members are getting the proper notice for this event. And after the grievances, we continued to work with we continued to have to deal with a legal situation from a former board member who was concerned about our lack of sharing information, and we were uncomfortable with the idea that all our membership information could be shared so easily. A big learning process, a long road. We were able to settle that out of any kind of hearing or go through court to keep our legal fees somewhere in check, and we did carry out that agreement. We've so far spent $6,600 on legal fees. Most of that has been reimbursed from our insurance claim through Southeast Uplift. $2,500 of that was our initial retainer that Southeast Uplift paid for out of their budget, and we've gotten more notices from the former board member that he wanted to set aside the agreement that we had reached and carried out, and so we weren't sure if that was going to come to anything these past months. So we've been continuing to incur legal fees around $500 a month for that.
And it didn't come to anything.
So, after going through a lot of these challenges, we just weren't able to keep everybody that was elected. People were tired of dealing with our procedural stuff that we had to do, and they wanted to work on more positive things. So not everybody stuck around or was able to just handle the whole process. And we also had some attrition. We were really lucky to have a number of renters on the Neighborhood Association board last year, and those are folks who don't always get involved with us. Unfortunately, with the current situation of housing costs in the city, with several renters had to move in that period, and they were not able to find new apartments in Montebello, so they did resign from the board. So these are challenges. We've kind of, we're down to 5 people, 5 hard workers, but definitely it's been hard to have all of that on us. But I think, you know, we also are coming out of this, we have a lot of opportunities. We've worked really hard to kind of get some of these systems set up for the new board. David and I are committed to making sure that the new board has the tools they need, that they have all the passwords, that they know all the systems that are in place. And Southeast Uplift is a great resource, and they've committed to, you know, working with our new board members and offering trainings for them. We think, you know, we've tried really hard to build goodwill in the community, to listen to people, to have ongoing programs that are, you know, fun and make us feel proud to be Montevillans. And you know, I do just want to wrap up. We couldn't do this without our volunteers. We're 5 board members, but we've had just such great support, and I do want to take a couple minutes to recognize 4 of those folks who are here tonight. And I didn't really plan how to do this, but did you go? So first, Kate Walker, since you're sitting right here. Can you come up here really quickly? Putting books on the spot, but I did just, you know, I was so impressed with Kate's, you know, just coming up with this idea, taking it by storm, and doing all the things, doing all the things that she needs to do to make it happen. And we just want to thank you for your contribution to Montevilla, and we wanted to offer you this mug that we found in our...
Thanks to everybody who supported the effort. So, yeah.
And the mug has a picture of the Academy Theater reopening, so I'm sure someone in the room knows the story where these came from. Can Amy and Robin come here? Next, I'd like to call David Only up to the front. David has been such a resource for us. Not only did he just take on the whole cleanup effort and do all the work and make sure it happened and come up with the creative things like, yes, I'm going to do the styrofoam. I don't care if I have 7 huge bags of styrofoam sitting in my yard. Down to 2, that's good. But not only that, he's been incredibly helpful on the tech side with helping us build our new website, setting up our whole new website system for us, and helping us brainstorm ways that we can kind of, you know, keep our passwords together, but in a lockbox so they're safe, but, you know, so that we don't forget all the things that we've, you know, built up and we don't lose them again. And I've just been so grateful to David for all his help and work. So thank you, David.
Thank you, guys.
Amy Rainey has been a person behind the scenes. She served on last year's elections team, and she served this year again, though I don't know why you would do it twice. And hopefully this year was a lot less work and more fun. But Amy is always there. She's the one who connected us with the property owner for the market site, and she's always just, you know, making these connections, bringing in new resources, coming up with great ideas, and I just really appreciate. She's always a wise voice to go to for advice and ideas. So I just really appreciate you, Amy. Thank you. And Robin Head as well has been amazing. She's a graphic designer, and you'll see all the beautiful things that we have are mostly from Robin. She has done our flyers. I think she doesn't want to stand up here too long, but you know, she's been on the land use committee. She's really the one who got the mural thing underway. I was just looking back at an email. She did all this research to figure out meeting places for us to have committee meetings, and it's that kind of back, nobody wants to do that, but it's, it made it easy for us to say, okay, we'll make a partnership with Portland Metro Arts, and we can have our meetings there. And it's that kind of support and just doing that kind of work. And then, she also served on the elections team last year and this year, and she organized our mural stuff and has been really involved in that as well. So thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. And look at that, we've got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I want to take a second. I need to really thank Amanda, wonderful vice chair. I couldn't have done it without her. A lot of hard work, and and it was a really great partnership. I don't think we could have done it alone. So thank you again. Next, I'd also like to thank our board members who will be board members for a few more minutes. John Grotter, Public Safety Chair, and Brad Donahue, our Treasurer.
Pat's out of town.
Can I have the mic for a second?
Yeah.
Just 1 second, I wanted to also thank a former board member, also Barry Rose, here in the meeting. Thank you.
Well, I just want to take a minute to ask you to just say thank you to our outgoing chairs, as David was recognizing. We couldn't have done it without them, and they've been through a lot. So let's have a hand for Amanda Rhodes and David Lynn, please.
All right, do you want to take it away?
Yeah. We're going to invite Tamara up. We've got a facilitator to help us. And I will go. Oh, yeah, there you are. Great. Was I supposed to do more? Tamara is very organized.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, no, that's good, that's good. Hi. I'm gonna try to move this up. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me okay? All right, good. Hi, so I was invited to help facilitate this elections process. So my task will be to explain it, to offer a space for there to be questions about it, and then to kind of guide you through it step by step. So the hope is at the end of tonight, everyone will put their ballot in the box. Everyone who has a ballot will put the ballot in the box, and that there will be a board. After that happens, after you put your ballot in the box, you will be invited to stick around if you want to, and wait or leave. This isn't really a very interactive kind of process. It's very structured. We'll be going step by step. Your main voice is on your ballot. But I do want to give you a chance, you've been listening for a little while, to connect with each other. So this is only 3 minutes, but I'm going to ask you to do a short activity. Kind of reflect on what you value about your neighborhood, what you value about Montevilla. So I'm going to ask you to, first of all, in just a minute, find somebody that you don't know well, so maybe not the person right next to you. And you're going to have 3 minutes. The first minute, one of you is going to have a chance to talk and say what you value and appreciate and love about your neighborhood. The other person just listens, so it's like a listening activity also. Then I'll say switch, and then the second person will have a chance to talk about what you value about your neighborhood, and the first person will have a chance to listen. And then you have a minute to kind of chat about whatever you like. Okay? So everyone understand that process? So the important part is not both of you talking at the same time, but actually taking turns. I realize I do need my timer. Hold on. I don't know why it's doing that. So, first of all, find a partner you don't know well. Go, but don't start talking yet. Don't start your minute yet. Put your hand up if you don't have a partner. Put your hand up if you do not have a partner. There's someone over here who needs a partner. Who else doesn't have a partner? Right behind you. You know each other? Okay, find a new partner. There we go. Whoever you're next to, go. Person one, go. Now, if you listened, only one of you talked. So now the other person's going to have a minute to talk. Okay? All right, so ready, go. You get 30 seconds, I forgot that part. You get 30 seconds to chat. 30 seconds and we'll go back down.
Well, now I Zero. Okay, pretty good. All right, great. So I'm just going to ask you to put your hand up and shout a couple of things that you heard. So practice listening to each other. Anything that struck you that you've heard that was of value you want to share with the group. Yeah?
Our kids went to Vestal.
What was that?
Our kids went to Vestal.
Okay, great. Vestal, schools. What else?
Neighbors watching out for each other. Community. Like
Great.
Community, your neighbors.
Community, and I heard one over here but didn't see anything.
Pretty much what she said.
Community, great. What else?
Lived her all her life. Lived her all her life.
Lived here all her life. People living here their whole life. Yeah.
Walkability.
Walkability.
Proximity to Mount Tabor.
Proximity to Mount Tabor.
A contained neighborhood with all you need
A
in one
contained
spot.
neighborhood,
Yeah.
all you need. Anything else? Great, that's a lot to really appreciate. Okay, thank you for that little activity. You can find your way back to where you were if you like. We're going to start the process. Again, my role is to help keep this process on course for the next hour or so. Maybe a little bit longer, a little bit less, depending on the number of candidates. Every time I work with a group, I ask folks to agree to some basic ground rules. So some of these tie into the bylaws from the Montevilla Neighborhood Association, not the bylaws, the code of conduct. But also these are ones I just use for any group trying to do anything together. So we're going to look at them really quick. So the first thing is respect. Whatever happens tonight, let's maintain respect for each other. Everyone is here because you want to improve your neighborhood and that you love and value aspects of this neighborhood. That also means we want this to be a space free from any oppressive language or any put downs, any targeting, any attacks. 2, speak for yourself. So that means talking about your own experience if it comes up. We're not going to be talking about experiences outside of our own. Share the space. So one of the things that means is that if you do have questions, just recognize how much space you're taking up in the room. You might step up or step back, just depending on how to make this work. One speaker, one mic. I kind of have to crunch. Let me see. Oh, that's better. One speaker, one mic. So let's listen when it's time to listen, and then let's stop talking when it's time to pass the mic on to somebody else. Let's not interrupt. Listen for understanding rather than devil's advocate. And then agree to disagree. So those are the basic ground rules that we talked about having for this process tonight. Do those sound acceptable to folks? Are there any questions? Give me a thumbs up if that seems okay. The question?
I have a question. I don't understand the one about listen for understanding, not devil's advocate. I don't understand.
Oh, that's when, like, if somebody says something and then somebody else says, like, well, you could have this really weird situation where this actually isn't true. Let's think about what makes sense for this group and assume that in this group we're talking about Montevilla right now basically getting a board elected. That's the idea. Does that answer the question?
Kind of, I still don't understand it, but it's better.
Okay. Any other? Can I have any, basically are folks in agreement with these? Can we live with these for the next hour? That's all, you can then revisit them. Okay, great. So, I want to recognize the people that have worked on the elections committee have been working a really long time. So that is Amanda and Robin and Amy and Lucy. So thank you for your work. If we have questions about the process, we'll be deferring to Amanda, but I'm going to go through it as I know and understand it. Also, we want to recognize that we have Southeast Uplift here. We have Molly and Gabby and Christina, so thank you for being here. And also we have the Office of Civic and Community Life, Terry here. So also resources for us and people that can assist with the process if needed. Did you want to say any words, Molly?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out to support your Montevilla community today. Your presence here is really important, and I know it's hard to find time to come to this kind of community meeting, so thank you for showing up. Everyone's here because you care about your community. So I'm really looking forward to everyone putting input into tonight's elections and having a new board to work with. I want to give a giant thanks to the outgoing board. It was a really challenging year, and I have not seen community volunteers anywhere in the city work harder than David and Amanda. So I just want to really acknowledge them and give them a round of applause. They had so much work to do, so many extenuating circumstances to sort through as new board members. It was a lot on their plate, and they stuck it through, and I just admire them so much. There were other fantastic board members that for various reasons had to leave, and that's totally understandable. But I just really appreciate the work that the whole neighborhood did, and their work pulling the neighbors together. So thank you guys so much. And for those of you that are thinking about running for the board, Southeast Uplift is prepared, willing, and ready to work with you and just keep this community the terrific community that it is. So thank you again for showing up, and we're looking forward to counting your votes.
Okay, we won't move. So great. So now I'm going to go over the process that the Elections Committee has set up based on the bylaws. So first of all, according to the bylaws, there are up to 11 open seats on the board. So you can have a board of up to 11 people. You have to have a minimum of 3 people in order for it to be a board. All candidates have to be current members and currently on the existing membership list. So we have 3 candidates already. We will open the floor tonight, and so we'll just verify that everyone is a member before we move forward with that. After we open the nominations, if you want to self-nominate tonight, once we close those nominations, Amanda is going to create sort of a random order. So if you look at your ballot, you probably have a ballot, there are numbers but no names. So that's what's going to determine which candidate is in which order, that sort of random draw of the hat. We will invite candidates to speak in that order, in that random order. And Each candidate will have 2 minutes to speak. We're going to try to stick with this, so I ask your help in sticking with this. I will sit right in the corner and I'm going to give a 1-minute mark and I'm going to give a 10-second mark, and then we're going to ask you to put the mic down and hand it back, just so that we can respect everybody's time and make sure everyone has you know, an equal chance to speak. There won't be any questions. It's not a back and forth. This is really the chance for the candidates to put themselves forward and present themselves to you. Let's see. A candidate must receive a majority of votes cast, but doesn't have to be present. So I know we do have one candidate who is not present, and someone else will be reading their statement. And once the numbers have been assigned, you can go ahead and vote, but we don't have any option of write-in candidates. So they've got to actually be nominated and have a number. At the end, after we sort of close all of the, actually, you can leave at any time. So if you need to leave while the candidates are speaking, you could drop your ballot in the box and leave. So you're welcome to vote at any time. But if you want to stay, hear all of the candidates speak, then you can listen to all of them speak, drop your vote, and either leave or stick around. The hope is, again, to have the board selected tonight, and that'll just depend on the counting of the ballots, whether that's possible or not. Right, I think that covers the basics. Any clarifying questions about process? Not really, we're not going to change the process, but any questions about it that are that's unclear to anybody? Seem pretty clear? Yeah? Oh, was that a thumbs up? Great, okay, thumbs up. All right, excellent. All right, so now we are to the second part, which is the call to open nominations. So we currently have 3 candidates listed. We have Pat Sanders, who is not present, but whose statement will be read. We have John Rotter, and we have Brad Donahue. So those are already candidates. So now I open up the floor, and all you need to do is nominate yourself and say your name. We don't need any other thing from you if you're wanting to nominate. So I open the floor for nominations, last-minute nominations.
Hi, my name's Dylan. I live Burnside and 82nd. I'd like to nominate myself.
Great, Dylan, what's your last name?
Perrenboom.
Great. You got that?
Spell it.
P-E-E-R-E-N as in Nancy, E as in boy, O-O-M as in Mary.
What was your first name again?
Dylan.
Thank you.
How do you spell Dylan?
D-Y.
Great. Other nominations tonight? Going once? Going twice?
Come on, guys.
Nominate somebody.
If there's no more nominations, then the nominations are closed. Great. So now that we have 4 people nominated, we're going to do the random order number mix-up.
Okay.
Where are the names going to be written down? Is there a paper to write them?
Oh, I didn't know. I thought we were doing that on the projection.
We can do,
Turn your projector off.
can we do your tabletop thing? Do you
Yeah.
have that
I
handy?
don't know where.
Yeah. It's over
Does someone want to come over? This is too small. There's a jar. Jar.
here.
After I'm done pulling these out, you can put money in here for the mural artist. Should I start pulling?
Yes. Well, we're not writing them yet.
Should I wait?
Nope.
All right.
We're ready.
And this is just determining the number and who talks first. John Rotter is number 1. Pat Sanders. Lucy is going to read her statement. Brad Donahue, and then Dylan.
Yeah, Karen do it? Or
Great. I think that's right.
They're right.
Nice timer ready. All right.
I'll turn it back on and see if it'll work for me.
I can't see over people's heads.
Yeah.
I'll work on it, yeah. Oh yeah, of course that's gonna keep moving, but.
All right, are we ready for the candidate speeches?
Yes.
Yeah, is that a question?
Yes, are these the numbers in correspondence to how they vote? So if people cannot stay, number 1 is John Rutter, number 2 is Pat Sanders, number 3 is Brad Donahue, and number 4 is Dylan, sorry, Perrin Bohm.
Yes.
Sorry, I was saying it for that.
Yes, it's true. This is the order of the candidates, so if you need to vote and can't stay the whole time, this is their number. Right.
Oh, great.
I'll wait for you to get that ready. Pat Sanders? Brad? Oops. Dylan? Aaron? That's good. Thank you. A little bigger. Can everyone see that? All right. Okay. All right. So just a reminder, each candidate will have 2 minutes. I'll give you a signal halfway, 10 seconds, then let's respect the time. There won't be back and forth, but you're welcome to applaud the candidate afterwards. All right, so I invite John Rotter up here.
Hello. How's everyone? Thank you for showing up. All right, so I was appointed by the board last year, and I decided to volunteer to help the community. Since then, I've met with city, county, and state officials, police, neighborhood groups, concerned citizens, homeless, and neighbors like you. All in the hopes of making Montville a safer place for everyone who calls us part of Portland home. I was born and raised here in Portland. I've been involved in community organization off and on for the last 15 years. Much of my experience comes from working with people one-on-one in person through groups such as National Lawyers Guild, Common Ground Relief, and Independent Media Center, to name a few. A few things since I've been on the board that I've done are to facilitate the organization of neighborhood watches, gone out on safety foot patrols, met with other community members from around the city to learn what can be done to help our neighborhood, and work with city, county officials to lobby for an increase for a safer Montville. If elected, I plan on finishing the work that I've already started as public safety chair to help put in place an action plan with the neighborhood to reduce crime, to reach out to more neighbors who are interested in public safety and hold public safety forums for the neighborhood where we can all learn more to better ourselves as a community. Finally, I plan on working together with neighborhood groups, businesses, schools, churches, individuals, city, and county officials to increase the overall livability of our neighborhood. Thank you for your consideration, and please vote for John Rotter as the next elected public safety chair of the Monroeville Neighborhood Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite Lucy reading Pat Sanders.
Okay. My name is Pat Sanders, and I've been serving on the Montevideo Neighborhood Association as an appointed at-large member since April and have worked on the Outreach Committee. I'm honored to put my name before you as a candidate for the board so that I can continue to serve the constituents of the Montevideo neighborhood. I apologize for not being present, but I have a prior and important commitment that prevents me from being here tonight. If elected, I would like to continue to serve as the neighborhood historian. For about a year now, I have been digging into Montevidio's past and discovering fascinating people and events that have made our neighborhood a vibrant place to live for over 100 years. So far, I have written 2 articles for our newsletter about our history, and I would like to contribute to more of these. I would also hope to engage others in the Montevideo History Project so that we can take on additional efforts, like oral histories, historical walking tours, and even a book on Montevidio's history. Historical research takes a tremendous amount of time, so that would be my main effort, but as an art historian with 30 years of college teaching experience, I also love the arts and believe that they too help create an interesting place to live. So I would work with the Land Use Committee to seek funds and opportunities for more public art in Montevideo. I will also support Montevideo Neighborhood Association initiatives regarding public safety, including emergency preparedness, remedies for houselessness, improving MNA communications, and fostering a Montevideo that is welcoming community for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I invite Brad Donahue up here.
So my name is Brad. I'm running for the board of the MNA. I was appointed to the board last year, and my goal is to serve the association members and the community at large in whatever capacity I can. So I'm an accountant by career, and last spring, when the previous treasurer resigned, I took over the position of treasurer, and I was able to do some required reports and keep things caught up. Also, I want to be able to serve the board in whatever capacity I can. So if they need me to be a treasurer, I'm ready to do that. Last year, and one other thing is that I just want to help keep the train on the track, so to speak. We had some IT problems last year that I won't even begin to try to explain. Kind of went into a black hole that we are coming out of it, and so I want to capitalize on the improvements we've been making. So a neighborhood association isn't just a board. It's neighbors and members collaborating with the board. So there are 2 things that you can do to help. One is to vote for me, and 2 is to come and participate. Several members are active in land use. Others might be interested in, say, starting an urban farming committee. And my goal is to assist in the general administration, capitalize on the success of our cleanup day, and to promote discussions of livability in our community, the needs of the homeless, and we need to address those, but we also need to address the safety concerns of those most affected.
Thank you. And finally, everyone's been just under time. It's great. I'd like to invite Dylan Perenboom to speak.
All right, I threw my name in just because I'd like to ensure that there's a voice on the board that will advocate for active transportation and walkability in our neighborhood. And I have a lot of background volunteering with Bike Farm. I've served on the board as that. That's a nonprofit program that advocates for demystifying the bicycle education in our community. So I'm up here today to make sure that the Montevilla Neighborhood Association has that same voice. I live right off 82nd or 83rd and Burnside, and know that we are a major thoroughfare, but I think we can do a lot to balance walkability and the stuff that everyone loves about Montevilla, like walking down Stark and going to the theater, or the bars, or the children's stores. So that's why I'm up here today. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So you've now heard from all of your candidates. So remember, you can vote for up to 11, in this case up to 4. But they do need a majority in order to be elected. So vote for all that you support being on the board. You are welcome to stick around. When you are ready to vote, put your vote in the box that says Monteville Elections. Christina and other folks from Southeast Evelyn will be monitoring that. And there's a question.
Yeah, so this wasn't done last year. I served on the board for 4 years. The bylaws require terms to be staggered. That's not something that the board can decide after. It has to be decided by the members.
Actually, we went over the process at the very beginning, and so that's the process we're using for today, and we're at the very end of it. So we're going to go ahead and continue that process. Did you want to? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and continue the process that we agreed on that is the election committee has determined is according to the bylaws.
So the bylaws are not, don't waste your time with this guy.
So we're going to keep going. Vote, stick around if you want, leave if you want. We hope to have an answer tonight, and I'm going to pass it on to Amanda for some final words.
You know, I meant to do some housekeeping stuff at the beginning. We've got some snacks in the back, bathroom back there, and also the other way. We borrowed this awesome photo booth over here from Tina Granville. We've got, we should have an iPad set up so you can take photos in front of Stark Street. Maybe with my son, he might take photos with you. And it's his iPad. And also we do have, and he needs to give you the password. And we've got a mural fundraiser over here. We are, you know, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the property owner paid for the materials. We're trying to raise money for the artists who did the work. So that they can have somewhat of a living wage. They're really just asking $4 a square foot for this huge wall. So those were my housekeeping items.
I'll just say thank you. Thank you everybody to come out. I'm not sorry, we're not taking any more comments. Listen.
I just went on the GoFundMe. Would you all mind putting the address while we're still up here?
Oh, sure.
Put it up on the screen, the GoFundMe for the mural.
Sure.
People will have cash.
And it's also, yeah, and it's also on that sheet over there.
Quick and easy.
Awesome. Thank you, Yana.
Great. Thank you everybody for coming out, and thank you for our new board candidates and our new board. So that's what we have everybody has tonight.